Hello, my bones. SilverDFanng back with more YouTube reactions. We got a really big one. So, Scott the Waz, been around for a long time. He does video game reviews. This is probably one of his longest ones. It's Toys to Life. He goes through the whole history of the Toys to Life genre, which only really lasted for a little over a decade. But God, did companies go all in. Enjoy. Oh, this is a long one.
Hey, y'all.
Okay. So, Scott the Waz. I know Scott the Waz. I watched a lot of Scott the Waz content for years. He is a gaming reviewer. He doesn't just review games, he reviews the culture of gaming. He has a few channels. I like his insight into the world of video gaming. I don't agree with all his opinions, but I appreciate his look at it. And we got Toys to Life. If you don't remember, there was a massive boom of toys being used as video games. It's Skylanders, your Disney Imagineer, whatever, stuff like that. The Nintendo statue thingies. As you can tell, I never got into them. But let's see what Scott has to say.
Hey, y'all. Scott
Hi,
here.
y'all.
I finally found a use for that 24 hours of spare time I just had. It's all been building up to this. I'm gonna be God, the first 24-year-old one to be exact. I woke up yesterday
I feel like there was a few Egyptian pharaohs that saw themselves as gods, and they were way younger.
and realized God can't die. And I've never died before.
True.
So my first order of business is to bring inanimate objects
died.
to life.
I can't be God.
I decided to buy anything labeled as a toy at Spencer's Gifts, not showing those. I'm gonna give them mortality because damn.
I'm gonna guess Spencer has some special toys for mommy.
And if you were God, you would too. The hell do I do now? I'm over wasting money. I can always sell them to get more. And video games are pricey buggers.
Yep.
Back in the 90s, you'd be paying $70, $80 to be disappointed. Eventually, console games went down to $50, then rose to $60, and then
Yep,
$70
yep,
again.
yep.
But even with these prices, that's not enough.
Now, some AAA games in the Canadian dollar, you're looking at 90.
Enough for these companies. Do you think he's satisfied? Expansions, downloadable content, microtransactions, any possible revenue stream out there. These companies want them, but gamers know better.
Nope.
They're gamers! Many players have become well versed in these methods to get more money, so it's up to these companies to figure out ways to mask their money-hungry tactics. Nah, I'm not trying to kill you, I'm just making eggs. And in 2011, something happened that changed the video game industry. None of you would be here without him.
True.
Something else happened.
Thank you,
and it was the start of
Ubisoft.
a new genre leading to all kinds of possibilities in death. Toys to Life. The idea of releasing a game for $100 that's incomplete and forces you to scan figurines sold separately to unlock characters already in the game's files is fucking stupid.
Yeah, this was a real trend. Literally, it was, yeah, you start off at $100 for the little console, the little game, the little, like, starter pack of 3. But the starting pack of 3 were, like, basic and lame. No, if you want to be a good gamer and you want some cool shit, nah, you need to get that one pack. $20 each.
Let's do it! There has always been a lust for putting elements of real life into video games, and yep, that counts. Using a camera to insert yourself or your objects into the game world, or even something as simple as
The
character
fucking
creators.
Xbox
it's just
Kinect
flat out
was a
cool, and
disaster.
Game designers know that. So, what if you had toys that you could scan into a video game and instantly be able to play as that toy? Great. Ready to die. The developer Toys for Bob had this exact idea, and they applied it to a reboot of Spyro the Dragon. Fans were outraged because Spyro doesn't need a reboot.
I love Spyro. Spyro is one of my favorite platform mascot games ever. Spyro 3 is literally in my top 100 games of all time. I love Spyro. So I knew about Skylanders because Spyro. I never got it because it was 2011 and I was broke. And I now I'm glad I was broke.
Booty already had 1-2 reboots ago.
Bad.
See, Spyro's a pretty iconic character in the whole pantheon of gaming, but after the
Spyro A New Beginning is bad. The voice acting is not great. David Spade plays Sparks the Dragonfly, you can tell. Also, they retconned his...
Welcome, Shy96.
Hi, Shy! They also retconned Spyro's backstory, and now he is an adopted brother to Sparks and was raised by dragonflies in a dragonfly village. It was dumb. In Spyro A New Beginnings, Sparks was voiced by David Spade. Yeah, not a good game.
initial 3 games on the original PlayStation.
Yeah! Okay, the first one's good. These two are legendary. Ripto's Rage also might be in my top 100, but Year of the Dragon, peak. I love Year of the Dragon.
We have nothing.
Hero's Tale was also fun. It's not here level, but Hero's Tale was fun. Enter the Dragonfly got very monotonous. The advanced games were fine, but definitely downgraded. Bad. Nail in the coffin.
To lose, and thus Spyro's Kingdom entered development until later being titled Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. Wow, that's a slap in the face. Not only is Spyro relegated to the subtitle, he's not even the main guy on the box. It was a smart business decision though, you can't deny that. It was pretty much a brand new franchise, but with Spyro as a selling point for those in the know.
My biggest issues with A New Beginning is it didn't add anything new, and what they did add felt like it was getting rid of the 5 games that were on top of it. It felt mean-spirited to me.
Also allowed Skylanders to be its own thing rather than acting like this was the next main Spyro the Dragon game. Say what you want, but I think they did this in the most respectful way possible.
You know, I gotta hand it to you. That was a really nice way to spit on that corpse.
Yep.
Skylanders Spyro's Adventure released on October 16th,
Nothing like a
2011
polite-
for Wii, Xbox
Nothing like a polite way to pee on Grandma's grave.
360, PlayStation 3, Nintendo 3DS, PC, and Mac with a Wii
Who the fuck had this for the 3DS? That sounds like a awful idea.
U version releasing on July 12th, 2013, only
I
in
will
Japan,
not elaborate.
published by Square Enix.
I'm sorry.
So, how does this work? Well, first you spend $70, then wait for that return on investment. In the box, you get the game, 3 figures, some cards, and the Portal of Power. I've got a lot going for me, don't I? The portal requires batteries. We plug the receiver into the system, and there we go. I think we're up to this being at least worth $4. So let's pop a Skylanders figure on the portal. You can tell it's a Skylander by its disfigurement. Pick anyone you want, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you gave Activision money. That's all pretty instantaneous, and the effects in-game do give the illusion that placing the figure on the portal ignites some sense of magic, even when I already understand how the tech works.
Oh, you meant elaborate on Spyro. Okay, that I can elaborate. It felt like everything was moodier, everything was darker, everything had more of an, 2000s edge to it. And that just wasn't Spyro to me. It felt like they made Spyro gritty because that was just the trend.
Figure has a near-field communications chip in the base, or NFC, which allows the portal to know exactly what's on it. Of course, the fun of the gimmick comes from having an endless amount of figures to try.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I do like the look of a lot of these figures. A lot of these figures they have a nice weight to them. I like the creature designs. But again, these guys when they were new, these guys were like $20, man. Not worth it. Also, some people just collected them and never had the game. It felt really predatory. And you'll find out it was.
This out with. Being restricted to just the 3 that comes in the starter pack, it's like, wow, I can get past the menu. There is nothing you can do unless you put a character on the portal, and once you have 40 of them, you truly start to like it. So allow me to offer you Skylanders figures to purchase separately for only $7.89 per character. And to have access to all that Skylanders has to offer, you can have it all for the price of $225.
American.
Okay, well, maybe there's something to this game. Maybe each character unlocks loads of content if this is worth $225.
American.
Skylanders is a game where you move forward and beat up enemies.
It's
I'll
a
let you sharpen my pencils for $50 less.
it's a very
Skylanders
basic
is about
game.
the Portal Master. Me! I control all 30-something Skylanders and can swap them on a whim. They're frozen in our world as toys, but through the game we can see them in their world, fighting against the evil chaos. It's a cute way to contextualize the toys to life mechanic, I'll give him that, but at the end of the day,
It worked for Smash
Skylanders
Bros.
Spar's Adventure is a simple beat-em-up for children. Take
Yep.
that back, all the children say. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, loads of kids' games are structured exactly like this, and many of them popped up around this time. There was Disney Universe and Ratchet & Clank All for One. These are beat-em-ups with very simple level designs and controls that can be played via cooperative multiplayer. They're perfect for kids who have thumbs and very little else. I mean, I find these types of games to be a little too
Rest in peace, fum children.
simple and slow pace for my liking, so you're gonna need a gimmick to make it work. And Toys for Bob found it, being wasteful.
You know,
Yep.
I'll be honest, I have been slacking off with wasting money lately. I don't think I'm in my prime. I need mentors to teach me how to be wasteful and appreciate a game that wastes so much plastic and money.
I was once a chaperone for school dances, but then I realized I was contributing to society.
Hi, my name's Jeb Jeb, and this right here is a piece of shit.
Don't you want to be like me, doing absolutely nothing in life, so there's more or less pressure to perform?
Rex Mo's here now, you.
Amen.
We're the Waste Chasers. You're helping us by helping you be more wasteful. From this job, I bought 30 acres of farmland.
What are you gonna do with it? We'll waste anything. Your time, energy, people. But according to our lawyers, we can't advertise murder on TV, so I'm obligated to say that we're kidding.
Call us now to schedule your appointment. Confirm it by wasting money.
This is the Waste Chasers.
Do we need gas? No. Let's get some.
You work for the Waste Chasers?
I prefer the term we work for the Waste Chasers.
How well can you guys waste?
Sign this.
Why?
No reason.
You're hired.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, you see your problem? This wall's being utilized.
I was actually wondering if you could teach me how to waste with this. Oh, that's what our entire organization was built off of.
Waste chasing was founded by our great boss, Dex, who believed our great nation wasn't wasting enough time, potential, money, air.
It turns out Skylanders with a perfect alibi.
Hey, boss, can we have some Skylanders?
Yes, please.
What is your boss, 15?
14, you ass!
Aren't there child labor laws?
Legally speaking, it's better the child employs me than me employ the child.
That is true. If the 14-year-old is in charge, then he is his own boss. Strategy.
Well, what do you think?
It's perfect.
Let's order another set to be safe.
This is how you can get any mileage out of Skylander Spyro's adventure, by investing in these dinky-ass little things. You can beat the main game here with just the included figures in the starter pack.
But that's
This is a
lame.
game designed around having 30-plus playable characters. Only 3 is, by definition, not fun. Hey, in 2011, these were all only around $8 a pop, so not a horrible deal or anything. But these toys are pretty small, all things considered, and it's kind of hard for me to really want a ton of them when I have absolutely no attachment to these creatures. Other than Spyro, these are all basically original creations, and some of these guys just look gross to me. Not in terms of being badly designed, and more so, I wouldn't want to be eating while looking at them. They all look like they belong on a pack of Mucinex. And I don't get some of these names. They're not even names. One of them's named Lightning Rod. His parents were dicks. Then you have Whamshell, Trigger Happy, Stump Smash.
So I will say, yes, I watched the Skylander Netflix cartoon, and they do explain it as these are kind of like superheroes, and these are their hero names. Not much better, but it's a little bit better.
What the hell kind of a name is Slam Bam?
My f***ing name's Jeb Jab.
The characters and names are pretty take it or leave it for me personally, and while you can totally just pick and choose your favorites and roll through the game, Skylanders works best when you have basically every character at your disposal. You get up to certain parts where you need a specific Skylander of a specific type. None other can unlock the gate. Oh, well, that's a smart business move and a little bit of a, well, I don't know, discrimination? Then when you die, you can't use that Skylander for a period of time. They have to tap out while you use another figure, and you can't use them for a while as they rest up. So, theoretically, you can beat the game with the starter pack, but if you die with all 3 of your figures, you just can't do anything until your toys come back to life, which doesn't happen until either A, you finish the level you're on, but of course if you used up all your toys, then B, wait like 5 hours for the things to recharge. If it were
That's
30
awful.
minutes, I think that would still be egregious. Doesn't matter that much though, because the game is
That is disgusting. Especially, again, this is for young children. 5 hours? Like, oh my god.
piss easy. I wish I didn't have to use that adjective, but hey, just shows they gotta make urination harder. That's just more incentive to buy more figures, to have more and more chances to get through the stages. They're not forcing you to do it, but of course that's how an adult sees it. I'm sure kids thought they needed Ghost Roaster, their life depended on it. We all see the gameplay like this. Kids see it like this. They may have
You tell a kid that they have to wait an hour to do something, or they can spend $8 of someone else's money. $8.
simple gameplay that's aggressively monetized in a far sneakier way than something like DLC or microtransactions, but Toys for Bob definitely made each purchase feel magical, like the son of God.
Can we crucify a purchase?
The act of putting a Skylander on the portal does feel kind of...
Yes, I have crucified my Jimmy John's order. It's starting to smell.
Cool. It lights up in a certain way with the TV displaying animations that, in tandem, create a pretty neat effect. And after a Skylander dies, rummaging through your collection trying to pick the next one you play as, it has a certain charm to it. Sure, it's a far bigger chore than just a selection screen, which is entirely what this replaces, but it's kind of fun. You can play the entire game with a second player or battle them in a versus mode, truly the best crotch measuring tool. The game was originally developed for the Wii, with the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions being ports, which makes this feel great as a Wii game and really sad as anything else. There's something about HD ports of Wii games to the Xbox 360 that just feel like naked mole rats. That 360 version is the only one that uses a wired portal, I assume for some technical reason. The Japanese-only Wii U version is pretty rare, probably going to be one of the harder to find games down the line. The 3DS version is completely different. It's a bit more fast-paced and action-y, probably a better game overall, though it's harder to appreciate the figures. Being more focused on portable play is...
Wait, the 3DS has their own figures, so it's not even cross... Oh my god, it's not even cross-compatible with the other stuff. I want to point out that I do like Toys for Bob because they made the Spyro Reignited trilogy and the Insane trilogy for Crash Bandicoot, and they're also helping a lot of other platform games from the 90s and 2000s come back. But Toys for Bob, this is disgusting.
A few Skylanders to your system, then can take it on the go, which entirely defeats the purpose of the figures, which had no purpose to begin with. I just find it interesting the game came out on 3DS. They had to create a specific, slightly smaller portal of power just for it, which why go out of your way to do that for a new IP? Skylanders was a critical and commercial success.
Massive.
So were carrots. You don't see dole bragging. I find it odd just how well Spyro's Adventure did in reviews. Lots of 8 out of 10s, which just seems really high for a game so hell-bent on ripping you off. I don't care if you're the biggest Skylanders fan on the planet.
That sounds like a military threat.
How do you justify the starter pack costing $70? I think because I'm numb to the technology now, I just truly don't see how this is worth that kind of investment. Though people were saying the same thing 10 years ago, but the portal glowed! But all this praise meant this was a franchise worth supporting. They could have just kept releasing new content for this game. They actually released a few figure packs containing new levels to play in, which is kind of cool.
That's
they
not
decided
bad.
to follow up this game with a sequel just 1 year later, Skylanders Giants.
You guys need some more Skylanders over there?
As much as I need carbon monoxide.
Jesus!
So you took that as a yes?
Giants, wow, this is no longer Spyro's Adventure. He's not compared to the new guys. Move over, Spyro, make room for Thumpback. This game is pretty much the same shtick. Starter pack, game, portal, figures. The portal across all the home consoles is now completely wired, which isn't the worst idea considering a wireless portal was just another set of batteries to worry about. The main difference between Giants and Spyro's Adventure is the introduction of the new, bigger characters, whose figures are significantly larger, a size that I was hoping the regular Skylanders would be. They even light up when they're on the portal, which is a nice touch. The characters themselves...
Bring this thing!
I hate that. I don't know why. His voice, his face, that combination. No. I don't like that.
No! There are some regular-sized new Skylanders figures that just work with Giants, but I think the most important thing here is that all figures for Spyro's Adventure work in Giants. That is pretty cool. It significantly increases the appeal of the game to me. Like I said, it is pretty fun to pick and choose a Skylander to use, and when you have that much more to choose from and you don't have to worry about compatibility, it just makes the concept work that much more. Now, the game itself?
Do you give a
No! To somebody out of the know on what makes a Skylanders game unique from the last, this was a pretty weak sequel. The toys are bigger, and so is my appetite for a better game. It's fine. I mean, Giants feels more like an upgraded replacement for Spyro's Adventure rather than a full-on sequel. For a series that was born from a gimmick strength that really carried the first game in reviews. To see Giants not do something just as magical feeling, it just doesn't satisfy me.
Scott. They're bigger. What else do you fucking need?
You are a bitch to pleasure.
Again, the game is fine. It's more of the same, but I feel like the Giants aren't anything more than just bigger. Like, how is this impressive?
What do you need? It's bigger.
Giants on 3DS retains the wireless portal, so thankfully that lives on in the form of a Toys to Life game on a portable system. Please think about that. These were strange times. Play this on a bus. I don't think Skylanders Giants is bad. I think it's Skylanders Giants. It's probably a better game, but Spyro's Adventure still takes the cake in terms of being the first to bring this genre to mainstream attention. Giants just feels like an add-on to the first game turned into a sequel. A sequel to such an innovative game in 2011 was basically the same game with bigger toys.
Well, if you want to get into wasting, you can't get much more wasteful than that.
True.
What if there's one more bigger toy?
Stop, I'm on duty.
How you guys wasted over there?
Oh, Mark.
That's not enough.
Well, the first Skylanders for the next generation of consoles, the PS4 and Xbox One, though it's still released for everything Skylanders Giants came out on. Skylanders Swap Force released in 2013 and was actually not developed by Toys for Bob. This time it was developed by Vicarious Visions just to get these games out on a yearly basis. Who better to trust with Skylanders than video game developers? This is something Activision does with their yearly...
I need to see that again.
Than...
The Muppets in Spy Muppets licensed to... I'm both impressed and mortified. Good on you, Vicarious.
Video game developers. This is something Activision does with their yearly franchises like Call of Duty. You need to keep them coming out every year, but to give each game 2 years in development, you split it across 2 teams.
Yep.
So while Toys for Bob works on the next game, here's Swap Force. Firstly, my God, they upgraded the visuals. It was painfully obvious Giants was built off of the first game, so to go from this to this is monumental.
It's a little better.
Even on the last gen systems, it's a phenomenal looking kids game. Incredibly detailed with great lighting and popping colors. It's great to see that because this series did so well, they actually invested more into the productions themselves to make them better and better. The main gimmick of this game is the new Swap Force figures. You can take them apart and swap their bodies amongst each other, connecting with little magnets, and then when you put the figure on the base, they'll appear in the game with the swapped bodies.
That's awesome!
This is still insanely cool.
No, it is, without a doubt, it is a very cool idea. Problem is, now you need double the figures for the variety.
The sheer creativity behind this concept just adds to my enjoyment on top of the fact that it just flat out works. This is the coolest, most genuinely creative gimmick they've done yet. The figures themselves are cool to mess around with, let alone the fact that you can pop them on the portal and see them like this in-game. Plus, all previous Skylanders are compatible, including the Giants. The game feels better to control now, which is probably definitely because of the addition of a jump button. Yeah, the first two, you couldn't jump, which I think added to just how slow and simple they felt. I mean, they were all designed around now.
It's okay. It's technically like a beat 'em up. It is a beat 'em up, but it has a lot of platforming. You couldn't fucking jump? Are you fucking serious? That's also it. You're using Spyro and you can't fucking jump? Dude, is one of his core things is gliding. How do you think you glide?
Not jumping, but it just feels restrictive. Like, I want to jump, but I feel like the game doesn't trust me. Like, come on, why not have a jump button? This just feels like a waste of the controller. You have all these buttons at your disposal, but now it's being more utilized and doesn't feel like a waste.
We're done here.
Swap Force was a huge upgrade. It's not incredible by any means gameplay-wise. It's still Skylanders, where you fundamentally just move forward and beat up enemies. You need certain Skylanders of certain types to enter certain locations. You talk to this weasel to save this weasel. But this game really impressed me on multiple levels. The presentation, creativity, a jump button. This game has it all. I'm not head over heels in love with this series. I have problems with it, and the gameplay doesn't grab me, but I understand why this captured the hearts of millions. And with Swap Force, this is a game I can totally get behind. However, 2013 was a pretty massive year. Many companies noticed the success of Toys to Life, and Skylanders was no longer the only franchise in town.
Yeah. Hello, Disney.
He has ears, you know.
Disney Infinity, the first major competitor to Skylanders, alongside Pokemon Rumble U releasing that same year.
Oh my god, fucking Pokemon Rumble U. This thing, it was just you could tell It was just a cash grab. They put no thought, effort. It was gross.
Here, wow, a Pokemon Toys to Life game on Wii U, digital only.
Yep.
Tiny figures only available at GameStop?
Yep.
The game is bad?
Yep.
Some may toss the term missed opportunity around. I prefer the term Pokemon Rumble U. This is Nintendo we're talking about, okay? If they have the opportunity to monetize Pokemon to take advantage of children, well, first they shoot you in the face, and then they do that. But when you hear Pokemon...
Yep, Pokemon can't just, take your money. They also got to make you feel bad for them taking your money.
To life, you just kind of expect that
How
to make
is
money.
everyone?
The problem was, Nintendo forgot to flip the switch. This game stunk.
It was
just a mindless
awful.
button masher, and that's saying something because I just played 3 Skylanders games. But this one has no actual level design. They're just arenas. The toy functionality was completely superfluous. I think Nintendo just did this to test the waters. If they truly wanted to go all in, they would have incorporated Toys to Life figures with an actual Pokemon game, not where dreams come to die.
I should become a lawyer.
So Pokemon Rumble U is the 3rd entry in the series, and much like Skylanders, this was all about moving forward through levels and beating up all the enemies. The difference was, Skylanders is better. I don't fucking know. This is just too simple. I know Skylanders can feel like a button masher, but Pokemon Rumble is a button masher. And instead of fleshing out the combat a little more or giving us better level designs, Rumble U keeps the combat the exact same and removes all the level designs. It's $18 goddamn dollars. Well, the figures aren't needed, but could have been bought at GameStop in these blind bags. You scan them in and can play as them. Upgrade their moves with coins you earn. You can...
Did you hear the blind bag? So you can't even get what you want. You have to just keep buying to get the one thing you want. God, I love Pokemon, but god damn it, Nintendo. Stop being gross. You're supposed to be the champions of family entertainment. Not these trolls that, sit upon a golden throne and attack anyone that ever reviews or shows any footage of their games.
Save a certain amount of coins and in-game data, then bring your figure over to a friend's house to play on their Pokemon Rumble U. Joke's on them because they don't exist. They weren't great toys either. They were cool in the sense that the Pokemon Rumble series already represented the Pokemon as little low polygonal toys, but in real life, outside of the novelty, what kid is gonna want to play with this? They get more enjoyment out of spray painting a Dixie cup yellow. Hey guys, it's Pikachu. I mean, I guess the designs can be kinda cool sometimes, and for $4 a figure, I guess it could be worse. But only being available via blind bags exclusively at GameStop. Activision's pissing their pants. I will say it was cool to finally have a game utilize the NFC technology on Wii U. That was built into the gamepad, so actually I gotta ask, why didn't Skylanders take advantage of that? The Wii U had it built in. It would have been a cool extra feature to let you just scan your Skylanders in any way you wanted.
God, stop complaining. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, Higer, the Wii U in itself was an issue, but yeah, just in particular, Wii U had a little sensor where I think it was connected for amiibos. But no one really used it.
I'm just angry.
Pokemon Rumble U stinks.
Yep.
I would be more careful
Fuck
about
you,
saying that due to
Rumble
how
U.
ruthless the Rumble U community is, but they're just like the Shakers. There's not many of them left. Other companies were attempting the Toys to Life formula around this time as well. Notably, Ubisoft was thinking about incorporating a feature in Rayman Legends on Wii U, allowing you to scan in random things like hearts, rabbits, Ezio from Assassin's Creed.
What?
Though the feature was cut. This concept requires a lot of investment and commitment. Without that, you get Pokemon Rumble U. So obviously, if you're a big company with loads of disposable income and a wealth of iconic characters, Toys to Life made sense to try out, hence why I'm gonna bitch. Disney Infinity was announced in January of 2013, and everybody was kind of like, yeah, this makes total sense. You take a concept like Skylanders and you apply it to shit that isn't whatever the fuck, and it's poised to print money. And all these iconic characters...
I hate to admit it, but no, it made sense for Disney to do this. It made sense. Did they take advantage of it? Fuck no. It's a garbage game. And honestly, when Disney's like Imaginary Valley or whatever came out, I'm like, oh my god, this just feels like infinity. And I was completely just never going to touch it.
In the same game interacting with each other? It's like a dream come true. When the game released on August 18th, 2013, I'm sure everybody thought, damn, the boys together at last? Okay, so Disney Infinity isn't exactly what I think many wanted from a Disney Toys to Life experience. Instead, they tried to do something more unique. Like a tapeworm is pretty similar to a pinworm, but the tapeworm went off to do its own thing. They're both still parasites. Disney Infinity was developed by Avalanche Software, who already created the Toy Story 3 video game. This was one of the most high-quality movie games of that generation. The story mode truly felt like the film came to life with the quality visuals and sound, but more notably, the game included a side mode entitled The Toy Box. This was a large open area with different missions to tackle, which then let you customize more and more of the world.
That is cool.
It was a really cool addition that they didn't need to do, but showed how much they cared about creating a robust video game based on Toy Story.
That is cool.
This was probably the most iconic feature of Toy Story 3, the video game, as this was what most would talk about. So having that developer create a spiritual successor to Toy Story 3 in the form of a Disney Toys to Life game, it just made sense. The problem is, that led Disney Infinity to feel more like a new Toy Story 3 game, with everything locked behind a paywall. Disney Infinity follows a bunch of Disney toys doing as Disney toys do, be purchasable. That's the explanation behind the crossover. They're old toys, which is also why the characters are designed this way. A little blocky and simplified, it works though, and helps tie all the characters together under a unifying art style. The starter pack comes with Sully from Monsters University, Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles, and Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the...
So, we got 2 properties from Pixar and 1 live action. Look, that is Disney, but let's be fair. When you're thinking Disney, you're thinking of the 2D movies. No Simba, no Aladdin, no Genie. I feel like they missed a good opportunity.
Caribbean. Wow, what a diverse lineup. 2 Pixar characters and Johnny Depp. Disney.
I want to point out that, yes, I probably saw this years ago. I don't remember a single thing. Me and Scott are just on the same fucking page.
Infinity was already a little disappointing to actual Disney fans. There wasn't a lot of classic Disney characters at play here. Out of the 29 characters released, over half were Pixar characters, which, hey, are big parts of Disney's brand, but it's not called Pixar Infinity.
True.
It'd be like if half the Smash Brothers roster was from Fire Emblem. That's a joke. But even then, the other half of the characters, a lot are from Pirates of the Caribbean and from the most recent Disney properties at the time. Tangled, Frozen, Phineas and Ferb.
Okay, the Phineas and Ferb figures I kinda like.
And from the most recent Disney properties at the time. Tangled.
Okay. These are the Phineas and Ferb stuff I kinda want. I'm not gonna lie.
Frozen, Phineas and Ferb, they all deserve to be here. I just think it's lacking more classic Disney stuff, like The Lion King, Aladdin, even just regular-ass Mickey Mouse. We have Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey,
which is cool.
Goofy has to wait because we just had to get the Lone Ranger in here.
Yeah.
Who the hell remembers the Lone Ranger 2013 movie? Wrong answer. I think this was an issue right off the bat. Disney Infinity didn't feel like a celebration of Disney, rather...
Hey kids, we have a new game where you can bring your most favorite characters in the Disney brand. Who wants Johnny Depp in Red Face?
It felt more like a promotional vehicle. Like, there's a reason the Monsters, Inc. characters aren't from Monsters, Inc. They're from Monsters University, the 2013 film released 2 months before Disney Infinity. You're telling me I get a Holly Shiftwell figure from Cars 2 while fucking Goofy's on the sidelines? So the character selection is a little weak and a little too marketing-centric in my opinion. A Disney Toys to Life game was obviously going to have some characters involved just because they were in recent movies. I just wish it was a little more balanced. But that's not all, as the starter pack also contains this! What does it do? Cleans a toilet, but very poorly. This is a story mode for Disney Infinity, dubbed Playsets. They have this transparent look to them all, and they fit on this portion of the Disney Infinity base. You get 3 playsets in one with the starter pack, each based on one of the included characters, the Pirates, Incredibles, and Monsters U story mode. Each of these are completely separate experiences, meaning they have no effect on each other. They're separate stories based on separate movies, and because of that, you cannot use characters that weren't originally from said movie.
So one of the cool things about the concept of Toys to Real Life is you can use anything anywhere, and they're like, no, we're just gonna make 3 shitty licensed games that cost double what it would normally be without the figures. You can see why I hate Disney Infinity, right?
In that movie's playset. You can't use Sully in the Pirates playset or Mr. Incredible in the Goofy one because fucking Goofy isn't in the game. It's just the characters from the original movies in that movie's playset.
Oh my god, finally! Woody and Buzz at the same time?
Somebody call Ripley's Believe It or Not and tell them I don't.
This just kind of defeats the purpose of being a crossover, being titled Disney Infinity. It's even lamer considering these Toys to Life games were pretty popular as co-op experiences. Something a parent could play with their kid. And out of the box, even though you got 3 figures, because of this limitation, you couldn't play multiplayer in any of the playsets. You had to go out and buy another Monsters character, another Incredibles one, another Pirates one. The playsets themselves are fine. They're perfectly reasonable 5-hour adventures in their respective universes. It's like an Incredibles game within the game, and while they all still use the same engine, each playset plays pretty differently, going for different styles of gameplay, though they all still feel like Disney Infinity. But 5 hours per adventure is pretty beefy, especially considering you get 3 of them right out of the box. The problem is, they can get a bit repetitive and tedious, and they don't have the same level of polish a game like Skylanders Swap Force had. Visually, again, it was fine, but nothing crazy to write home about. The gameplay as well was fine. It was mostly just complete the mission for this character, beating up enemies, collecting currency. It was a very standard but fairly quality kids game. My problem is, this is what Toy Story 3 was, and I didn't need to buy all this shit.
Yeah.
Instead of being this epic crossover, Disney Infinity more so felt like an excuse for Disney to make shorter, shittier movie tie-in games and just put them into Disney.
Again, I'm not reading the script. Me and Scott are just fucking agreeing this was disgusting.
The Infinity. It's way cheaper. You can just use all those assets and that game engine and everything. Instead of a Lone Ranger or Monsters University game, just make a playset for Disney Infinity. And you know what? I don't think it's much of a coincidence that the amount of Disney tie-in movie games went considerably down after Infinity's release. This was more of a platform for Disney games and content, not a Disney game in of itself. I wish there was just one big campaign where all the Disney characters were playable and interacting and everything.
That would make
I feel like
sense.
with trailers and even the box art showing everybody all together, it kind of leads to disappointment when it turns out these characters all being together in one game. It's kind of pointless. Like, imagine if Smash Brothers was exactly the way it is, but you could only play as Mario characters on the Mario stages, or Zelda characters on the Zelda ones. Like, yeah, it's still a crossover technically, but you're not taking advantage of it. Though, I shouldn't speak too soon, because Disney Infinity features the toy box, so unlike Toy Story 3, this one is far more focused on being basically a game engine. Create your own world or edit a pre-built one. You can basically create your own small games in this mode. It's very impressive, and you can use any character you want here. Toy
That's
box
cool.
is definitely what you'd want to buy Disney Infinity for. You can just run around with a friend and attack each other, place items and vehicles down. It really does feel like you're a kid playing in a toy box. You could even buy power discs, which were blind bags filled with little bonuses you could place on the base for use in the toy box. This is just getting a bit greedy at this point. There's some cool stuff here.
What? Disney being greedy and using their years of being childhood memories and it taking money from people with nostalgia? What?
I love the fact you can stack a few power discs on top of each other. You're not limited to just
It
one.
is
But like,
super
come on,
gotcha.
this game costs $75 at launch, and you're keeping a truck away from me? That's fucked up. And because they're in blind bags, you're gonna be stuck with extras, which is just irritating. This game is already ass expensive. Expensive as ass. You're already clogging everybody's
Its ass is porcelain.
living room with these figures, so now you're gonna do blind bags of objects that have no reason to be sold separately? My daughter choked to death on power discs, and to make it worse, they were doubles. Who the hell wanted the circular ones? These just gave your character stat boosts, and it's like, great, because I didn't feel self-conscious enough. The angular ones are way cooler. They can affect your toy box's background and terrain, and give you really fun and cool objects, vehicles, and weapons to play with. Numerous character figures released were only playable via the toy box, characters with no playset in the game, which these felt like kind of a waste. Like, it's nicer in the game, but you can basically only play them in the level editor. Ooh. It just reaffirms my opinion that they should have had one big campaign that all the characters were a part of. I commend the effort of creating multiple campaigns for certain franchises, but it makes the whole experience feel disjointed. They already made a game called Disney Universe, where you play as generic characters solving light puzzles and beating up enemies, all in different Disney worlds, which feels way more to me what Disney Infinity should have been.
Also, Kingdom fucking Hearts. Kingdom Hearts already exists.
Just Skylanders. I don't know, man. I just feel like, unlike Skylanders, this game felt much more like the figures were just unlocking content in the game, rather than, oh, we're bringing the character into the game world. Just look at how long it takes for the character to load when you put it on the base.
I hate this.
Hello there. Want to come join me for some more fun?
Magic. Disney Infinity is
Oh my god. Oh my god. They did not put any effort or time into the voiceover. Oh, that is trash.
fine. I just think the concept of a Toys to Life game with Disney characters spanning so many of their IPs had so much potential. And while what we got was an alright game, I can't help but think something more in line with how Skylanders operated would take advantage of the crossover in figures so much more. However, much like Skylanders, Disney Infinity released on everything it possibly could have. Wii U, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, even iOS and PC. A few months too early for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, though it did get a 3DS version, subtitled Toy Box Challenge. I didn't sign up for this! It's a party game with a gimped base, only one character in geometrically confused plastic. The playsets give you game boards now, so it's literally a Mario Party game. You roll the dice, play a minigame. I assume this version entered development way late in the game, too late to create an actual adventure or a version of the console's toy box, so they cobbled together a party game which frankly has no right being on a portable. This is just miserable. This was just a way to get another game called Disney Infinity on the 3DS in a short period of time. Outside of that, this game has no business existing.
Well, what more could you possibly ask for? A duck? That one hit the spot.
Why was he holding on to those? Why? How?
1 year later, in 2014, Disney Infinity 2.0 released.
How big are those pockets?
You know, they had a chance to fix any and all problems I and many others initially had with Disney Infinity. Spider-Man? Instead of fleshing out the Disney portion of Disney Infinity, 2.0 opted to go in an entirely new direction, focusing on Marvel superheroes. I can't blame them, it was inevitable and does make the crossover that...
How are you doing today?
I wonder, what was massive in 2013, 2014? One of the most... one of the biggest movies of all time came out in 2012, featuring all these characters. Phase 2 was just blowing the fuck up. Marvel was bigger than ever. Yeah, shocker.
Much more cool and exciting.
Incoming ad break.
If the damn characters worked in the playsets! With a name like 2.0, I would have assumed this was just Disney Infinity 1 plus more, which isn't really the case. I mean, the toy box, yeah, that's basically an expanded version of the first games, but none of the Disney Infinity 1 playsets work on 2.0.
Boo!
This is so lame!
Boo!
Calling this 2.0 made me think, oh, this is like a replacement for the first game, but no, it's just, that's what they called it! All the 1.0 characters and power discs work in the toy box, but other than that, 2.0 is, in my opinion, a massive downgrade gameplay-wise. Instead of getting 3 playsets out of the box, you only get 1, which is far lamer and shorter than just one of the 3 playsets included previously. In fact, there's only 3 playsets in general for 2.0. All of them Marvel-based, no Disney-related ones, which I feel like is a huge slap in the face to the initial supporters of the series. Yes, I think it's cool Marvel's...
Disney Infinity, how about Disney go fuck yourself? How about Disney only the last 5 years matter?
Stuff is here, but that's all Disney Infinity 2.0 is, and frankly, I feel like it would have been more fitting to start a spin-off series just called Marvel Infinity. There were a few Disney characters released, only 11 with 2 being from Big Hero 6, which was a Marvel thing, though they labeled it as a Disney original because of the Disney animated film. And we did get some more legacy characters like Tinkerbell, Stitch, Maleficent, Aladdin, and Jasmine, a duck, a dirty fucking duck,
we got a
stinky duck. There was a Disney Originals version of the starter pack, one without Marvel characters if this was all you cared about. This came with some toy box games, kind of a consolation prize if you want to...
Oh, hi. Lilo and Stitch is my favorite Disney movie of all time.
And something non-Marvel to play with. These are some games created in the toy box mode based on Brave and Lilo and Stitch. It's kind of cool considering these were made within the level editor, but it just feels like they didn't have enough development time between games.
Look at that Hawaiian island.
Only 3 playsets and none of them Disney related. This feels like they scrambled to put together something Disney related to play. On top of that, man, this game just doesn't run that well. I'm on the Wii U version, so...
Spider-Man, great in New York. You put him in Agrabah, Clay, man, doesn't work with the spider abilities.
F me, right? But the controls just feel laggy. Frames drop consistently. I don't know, man. This is a weak sequel. They made some improvements here and there, like you can get crossover coins in the Marvel playsets, which allows you to play as certain Marvel characters in Marvel playsets that weren't meant for them. That's stupid. I kind of get you want to keep the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Guardians of the Galaxy playset so all the cutscenes include just the characters you'd expect to be there, or just the fact you'd want to keep the universes pure, but for the love of God, the premise of these games is that they're a bunch of toys. Well, I can at least kind of understand not having Donald Duck playable in the Avengers playset, not being able to play...
Nah, fuck you. I want Donald Duck in the 4 scene in Avengers. I want him just grabbing Loki's leg, swinging him the fuck around, and calling him a puny god. I want Donald Duck Hulkified.
As Spider-Man in the Avengers playset, or only being able to play as Iron Man in the Spider-Man playset after collecting the crossover coins. This is stupid. I'm sorry. The storyline here is that these are a bunch of toys. So why does it matter about keeping the universes pure? I just feel like the design of this game, at its core, it kind of annoys me. Again, it's like 3 separate small, shitty games available as a part of one, but you still have to buy the games in the form of toys. And this all makes sense when you consider that the playsets were all developed by different studios. That was to keep the quality and quantity of content up. But they could have just made a fun game overall with one main campaign and a toy box mode rather than 3 separate campaigns that confuse the hell out of me in terms of what figures work where. Oh, I'm gonna use Black Widow in the Spider-Man playset. You can't say I didn't try. Sure, the original characters work in the toy box, but nowhere else. It would have been great if the 1.0 playsets were here so you could just flat out replace your old Disney Infinity 1 game, but no, this doesn't feel like Disney Infinity. Honestly, this game has more limitations than you think. The Wii and 3DS missed out on this game, but Xbox One and PlayStation 4 got a taste of the action, plus a PlayStation Vita release in spring of 2015. This is just funny.
Yeah, so that was a huge waste of time.
Competing with 2.0 was the 4th Skylanders game, Trap Team, developed by Toys for Bob again. The main gimmick this time around was being able to trap and control certain enemies with these things. You pop it into the portal to nab the enemy with a really cool effect. There's now a speaker on here, so it really feels like the trap transports the character from the TV to the portal, the complete opposite of the feeling using the Skylanders invokes. This is another solid entry in the franchise, a fan favorite if you will. I think it does a good job expanding upon the quality that Swap Force instated. I mean, these animations look out of this world. It's obvious so much talent and money is being poured into this series now. Regardless of your stance on the Skylanders, you have to commend just how amazing this looks for a kid's game, let alone a kid's game in 2014.
It doesn't look bad for a kid's game.
Very much just another Skylanders to me personally. I think the traps are cute, though not as rad as Swap Force's gimmick. I have somewhat similar, yet less critical feelings about the traps to the power discs from Infinity. Like, the Toys to Life concept can be sorta cool until you start having to buy things that just like, what do you expect me to do with this outside of the game? The figures, you can display those, play with them, but like, what do you expect me to do with this in the real world?
Butt plug.
But hey, it's another quality Skylanders release. Same consoles as before, plus a mobile version this time around. It comes with a unique portal and its own controller. It's pretty impressive because unlike something like Disney Infinity on 3DS, this was Skylanders Trap Team in its entirety. I can't play it anymore. It is a 7-year-old mobile game after all, but rest assured, I wouldn't if I could. But there's probably a good reason as to why they were able to port this game to mobile. Because they were still making a Wii version. Oh my god!
That's
the Wii
janky
version,
as
strangely
fuck.
enough, comes with a download code for the Wii U version. So honestly, the best move would have been to buy the Wii starter pack. That way you would have gotten 2 versions for the same price as one. I think this was done because Nintendo leaned heavily into accepting the fact that the only third-party support the Wii U was getting during this time was from these Toys to Life games. They advertised the hell out of these types of games on Wii U, which led them to trying this out on their own.
Yep, we're now into the real cash grab for Nintendo. Skylander pretty much helped every industry. Infinity was stupid. Pokemon Rumble is stupid.
Hope everyone enjoys it here.
Now we're getting
Please follow the stream.
Now we're getting into the big collector boom. Oh my! I never got into it, but I have friends that collected every amiibo, and it is expensive. And some of these were limited edition for like no games, but they were cool collectibles.
Nintendo's amiibo worked quite a bit different from the other Toys to Life lines out at the time. Basically, they can make amiibo for literally any game, any series, anything. In fact, anything that could be right behind you.
Could you imagine?
Coinciding with the release of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U on November 21st, 2014, Amiibo weren't necessarily a competitor to Disney Infinity and Skylanders, more so Nintendo capitalizing on the fact figures like this were becoming popular. Because Amiibo's in-game functionality was never up to par with the others, Smash Bros. Was the best use for Amiibo, and even then it wasn't very good.
No.
You basically train a CPU fighter. You scan an Amiibo onto the NFC portion of the Wii U gamepad, and its use, functionality, and compatibility changed between games. Not all Nintendo games supported Amiibo, but those that did, I hope you like nothing. Nintendo made it very clear they wanted Amiibo support to be completely optional. You get simple bonuses for scanning an Amiibo, nothing massive. They didn't want to lock major content behind them like Skylanders or Disney Infinity were doing.
Which makes sense. And I will say with Smash Bros. Wii U, I remember gaming bars and gaming events where people would train their CPU fighters and fight each other in tournaments. So there was a niche. Like, there were a big fan base for the CPU fighters. People put time and effort.
However, this is very similar to Nintendo's various other stances they took with new endeavors. Oh, we'll never charge money for downloadable content. I just shot a kid in the face. Amiibo did go on to unlock pretty substantial content. In games like Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, they're actively required, much like the other Toys to Life games. But I feel like Nintendo never found a true balance with Amiibo. It always felt like too little or too much. Either it just gave you like 4 coins or an entire mode is locked behind it. The amount of games with Amiibo support is so vast, spanning multiple Nintendo consoles, games published by Nintendo, games not published by Nintendo, throughout so many years, that I don't think talking about the full-on history of Amiibo really fits our current discussion right now. Believe me, I've already talked about Amiibo, and you son of a bitch, I'll do it again. But Amiibo isn't really all that similar to how the others we've been talking about operate. Nintendo focuses on these things being more so supplemental collectibles because that's how all the fans view them. Launching with the Smash Bros. Line was the best and worst thing they could have done. It's great because everybody was interested in Amiibo from the get-go. You have characters from every video game series known to man represented. But then when they were running out of Smash Bros. Characters, Waddle Dee, they struggled for a bit after the boom of popularity with the Smash Bros.
No
Line
one
in
wanted a
2014.
chibi robo
They definitely
Amiibo.
overstocked various stores with lines of Amiibo
Yep.
that frankly weren't as popular, but as time went on, they figured that all out, and while Amiibo wasn't as popular as it was back then, it's still a fairly consistent portion of Nintendo's business. Enough where they were willing to experiment with crossbreeding. 2015 brought us Skylanders Superchargers, back to being developed by Vicarious Visions. This
Did not
one's
know
gimmick
about
was
this.
racing. Alongside new Skylanders, you could buy vehicles, cars, boats, planes. These scanned into the game just like any other Skylander would, and the game itself featured a standard Skylanders adventure with racing missions thrown in here and there, plus an entirely separate racing mode. This is lame as hell.
Aw.
No kid is going, Dad, I want to be that when I grow up. The game itself is very in line with previous Skylanders games. I have no major problem with the game, but this is a pretty weak gimmick. This doesn't feel creative or innovative, or like they really brainstormed for weeks to figure out what they could do next. This feels like an agenda to sell more toys rather than something magical. Which
Scott, the whole concept is just to sell toys. What the fuck are you talking about? The whole concept is to sell toys. I'm honestly okay with vehicles because, again, it's not really a game. It's a toy line.
which is what you want with a product like this. Swap Force and Trap Team felt like that. The original Spyro's Adventure felt like that. But this gimmick is something you could have done with the first game. The cars are just cars. You just scan them in. I think it's pretty cool you can actually play with them as toys, but I think what made the previous two games so cool was the fact you kind of go, how did they do this? With this, it's literally like, yeah, the same technology in this Skylander is in this car. They're fundamentally the same thing. But of course, the Nintendo versions of this game featured exclusive guest characters Turbocharged Donkey Kong and Hammer Slam Bowser. This is fucking nasty. Yes, Nintendo characters in the Skylanders art style. You might be saying, wow, I thought I'd hear you puke after that. No,
I'm not gonna lie, I don't see a difference. I literally do not. This just looks like Nintendo to me. Like, it doesn't really look Skylander.
I'm hungry.
And if they are, they fit in the world. I'm sorry. You can come at me, Bowser and DK fans. They look the fucking same.
characters in the Skylanders art style. You might be saying, wow, I thought I'd hear you puke after that. No, you see, that's just what puke sounds like now. Interestingly, these can switch between being amiibo figures and being Skylanders figures, which is a really cool touch. And overall, they do a pretty good job fitting within the game.
That's
I think it's
so
a little lame how
useless.
these break the Skylanders tradition of everything works everywhere. Like all previous figures and gimmicks work on the next game and the game after that, and you can swap figures between consoles. Nope, these can only be used on Nintendo, but it's cool enough to get a pass from me. Donkey Kong was the pack-in for the Wii U version. Bowser came with the Wii and 3DS releases, which were pared-down games, only featuring the racing portion, no adventures. Skylanders, Superchargers, Racing. You know, after seeing how Trap Team on Wii turned out, I salute them for accepting the fact the Wii can't do everything. Superchargers is another solid Skylanders, but just doesn't have a ton that's too awful compelling. This was a bit of a turning point. I think many consumers stopped and looked at all of this thinking, is this really worth it? It's just another Skylanders game, and now with a racing portion to it. You could just buy Mario Kart 8 and Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U and get a similar amount of playtime and fun out of those, and that would cost significantly less.
True.
This game was where sales started...
Still pricey, but true.
...to really decline. And that can be attributed to the gimmick just not being anything to write home about, but also just how many Toys to Life games were popping up. 2015 was the biggest year for Toys to Life series. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my... I fucking forgot about Lego Dimensions. No, not as bad as Infinity and Poke Rumble, but oh, you got, if you don't know about Dimensions, you're in for a gross, disgusting mess.
I'm suffocating!
We can finish the job if you want.
Yep, one more Tours to Life series. You got the toys?
Oh, I've got leprosy.
You think Disney entering the Toys to Life sphere was expected? Try Lego. I think everybody had the idea of, like, imagine a standard Lego game, but it's Toys to Life and you scan in the actual Lego figurines. It just made perfect sense. So when Lego Dimensions was announced in April of 2015, the world just went, yeah, no shit. But the way they were doing it, oh God, this had potential. Warner Brothers was going all over the place, utilizing their own IPs, getting the rights to ones that were just out there, like The Simpsons, Back to the Future, Portal 2, and making them universes in this game. It was all about being a giant crossover between series that were already popular Lego games, series that had Lego sets, series that had never had Lego sets before. This was just a giant excuse to bring together countless franchises that you would have never expected in a million years to see crossover. Batman, Lord of the Rings, the Lego Movie, Harry Potter, Ghostbusters, Doctor Who, The Wizard of Oz, The A-Team, Adventure Time, Scooby-Doo, Goonies, Beetlejuice, Gremlins, Sonic the Hedgehog. And the game was a typical Lego adventure, much like a Lego Star Wars or Lego Harry Potter or Lego Batman game, but with each level and world from a different franchise. It was like what I wanted Disney Infinity to be, but even crazier considering the diversity of franchises they had under their belt. How did they f it up? So Lego Dimensions is half Lego set, half Lego video game. The starter pack comes with Batman, Gandalf, and Wildstyle, the Batmobile, and the Portal base, all needing to be put together. This is one of the best parts of Lego Dimensions, the real-life aspect of having to put the Legos together. I mean, technically speaking, you don't need to, because all you need is the bases the characters, objects, and vehicles connect to. That's what the Portal reads. Without them, these are just regular everyday Lego toys, which is really cool. Makes traveling with them a bitch, though. The other toys you could very easily just toss in your bag and bring them over to a friend's house. Lego Dimensions, after one stomp, it's toast. Some instructions are given with the starter pack.
I'm not gonna lie, that hurt me a little. I'm not a Lego aficionado, but that still hurt.
Packs sold separately? None of them came with them. You always have to go in-game to figure out how to build them, which didn't make much sense to me. These extra packs are just genuine Lego. You have a chance to sell this to Lego Dimensions owners or just people who want the minifigures. But you're not going to include instructions? So these you don't include instructions for, and you have to access them in-game. But these included with the game have paper instructions as well as in-game instructions, like what? Why include paper instructions with the ones that come with the game, while the ones that don't come with the game don't get anything? It would also be nice to have paper instructions just so you could build everything before you start the game up, rather than turn the game on and spend 30 minutes building Legos. While popping all these things on the portal, we can play the game. And at score, Lego Dimensions is incredibly similar to previous Lego games, but now you're forced to buy the extra characters. Though they all have unique abilities, which sweetens the pot a little bit. I don't know, the 3 starter pack characters' abilities all just kind of feel like an excuse to give each character worth. It's like Wildstyle is the only master builder, so she can build more complex Lego objects in the game. But I'm just like, why can't I just do that as any character I'm controlling? It's not cool to be like, oh, only Wildstyle can build this object. Let me switch over to her. This is fucking awesome. But that I can tolerate. What I can't is the fact the game forces you to clumsily move the figures around on the portal to complete certain puzzles. Anybody that knows me will tell you, never tell Scott to move Legos around on a glowing portal. I absolutely hate this. So portals appear in the game and you have to swap the characters around to the corresponding colors. But one of your characters might be already on the color you need to swap to, so you have...
I don't trust the technology to read this perfectly. I'll be honest. I can only imagine how much of a connection mess this was.
To lift that one up, but that might take them away from the game, so you have to be quick. But then there's this color matching game that I just couldn't get to work properly, and the effect isn't even cool. It doesn't feel like I'm traveling through different portals or dimensions by moving this character to a different part of the base. It forces you to be super close to the portal when you're playing, and when it's wired, there's only so many TV setups this works with. The levels themselves weren't interesting at all to me. I'm sorry, I found them tedious and slow. It was difficult to tell what to do a lot, since you have a maximum of 7 characters to switch between, so it's always an act of, okay, this character can't do anything for me to progress past this point, neither can this one. For some reason this one works, so now I have to move these fuckers around. Everything from the game design to the real life design feels clunky and making something so simple so needlessly complex.
Or it's tedious. That's the biggest problem with Dimensions. It's tedious. Everything about it is tedious.
It's like they felt the need to differentiate this from regular LEGO games, so they tacked on gimmicks that just slow the game down and frustrate rather than inspire and shock and awe. Skylanders felt like you're taking the character and transporting them into the video game. Disney Infinity felt like you were unlocking content by placing the figure on the base. LEGO Dimensions feels like a shell of a regular LEGO game that's more expensive and has useless gimmicks attached that don't work. Now, I'm playing the Wii U version, to which many would say, Sky, you can't play that version. It's the buggiest edition of the game. You should play the PS4 version. Honey, I just don't think I like this game. It's a shame because the concept here is easily the coolest, most justified Toys to Life experience yet. All the IPs they have covered here, it's one of the craziest crossovers I've ever seen. The characters even have specific dialogue towards one another when you put them together, and on top of that, most of the characters are fully voiced by their original actors.
That might be the worst thing. There's real effort, there is real attention, but they just didn't have the information needed to make a good game.
Barely any sound-alikes are used, unlike Disney Infinity. You have level packs containing a character, object, vehicle, and a bonus level in that character's world. Plus, the vehicle can be reworked in 3 different ways, which is pretty awesome. Fun packs don't have any levels, just characters and objects. Story packs have handfuls of levels based on movies you can play, kind of replacements for regular LEGO games based on these IPs. And instead of making sequels, they opted to just continually update LEGO Dimensions instead, meaning this game got a few years worth of new figures and levels released. That's nice, but it does take away a lot of it for me personally. When I put the Sonic figure on the base and then have to go into the download content manager to download the Sonic level, that takes away so much of the joy and magic of the Toys to Life concept. These figures are, quite literally, keys to unlock content in the game. That's how it's always been, but they're not even trying to hide it with this game. It doesn't feel like you're bringing these characters to life, which I think is the big selling point of a game like this for kids. Couple that with how the starter pack was $100 and something like a level pack was $30. That's f***ed up. I know LEGO itself is expensive, but you do get a fun experience out of that putting it all together. But when you translate this over to video games, LEGO Dimensions gives you 3 characters in a game that's just as long as any of the other standalone LEGO games, which can give you hundreds of playable characters and level design not focused on shoehorned portal gimmicks for 60 or less. The Sonic level pack is worth half of a complete LEGO game. You do get LEGO with it, but still, it's just not worth it. Well, there was one major LEGO IP that didn't make the cut in Dimensions, and that was because it was the tentpole feature for Disney Infinity 3.0. That's a weird way to spell fucking goofy. Yeah, 2015 was when Star Wars was coming back hard with The Force Awakens, and with it being the other big acquisition Disney made around that time, it just made sense with Infinity 2.0 being themed around Marvel. But while 2.0 was pretty lackluster in my opinion, 3.0 feels like Disney Infinity was finally starting to click. It's the exact same format as before, playsets and toy box, though they went for a far bigger variety this time around. We got playsets for not only Star Wars, but Marvel and Disney originals as well. They started to dig deeper and offer more classic Disney characters, like Baloo and Vanilla Mickey Mouse. It took 3 damn games to get Mickey. The playset's mostly focused on Star Wars, but there was a Marvel multiplayer fighter playset and a couple Disney-themed ones, Inside Out, Finding Dory. There was even some Toy Box games that were way more fleshed out than the ones from 2.0, like Toy Box Speedway, a racing game where you can play as any Disney Infinity character you want. And everything just feels way more polished than before. The Toy Box, I gotta be honest, being able to play as any Disney Infinity character from 1, 2, and 3, it makes it so much more fun. I'm kicking Iron Man's ass as Baloo. And you can run around as Donald fucking Duck versus a Star Wars character, add on some flying vehicles and weapons. Disney Infinity 3.0 ain't that bad. I think they put a ton of effort into this iteration and gave it their all. You still can't use previous playsets from older games. I think that's kind of the one thing that stings for me. But 3.0 was set to be a long-lasting game. Instead of developing a 4.0 the next year, Disney opted to release updates for 3.0. You can tell what the newer figures are by the internet symbol on the package, indicating that blue is a privilege, not a right. They had lots of plans for this game, and the future seemed bright. Guess where I'm going with this? In May of 2016, from what seemed out of nowhere, just 8 months after 3.0 released, Disney announced their discontinuation of the Disney Infinity franchise. It was shocking because they just released figures and playsets along with announcing plans for future content. Disney Infinity was always a decent success, but not enough to have 6 developers on the project with over 40 figures released just for this game alone. Infinity was ambitious, but not sustainable. Disney wanted it to be a platform, a place you went to get games based on Disney properties, but did that really make much sense? There are over 100 million PS4 owners, and if you're making an Inside Out game, why limit it to an install base of only those who bought the game with Anakin Skywalker on the front? Why limit it to the confines of the Disney Infinity engine and playstyle? Why lock it behind toys when if you just want to sell toys, just sell toys, and if you want to sell games, just sell games? It felt like Disney Infinity wasn't...
And this was the big issue with the Toys to Life in general. It was a cool gimmick, but people realized, wait a minute, I like video games for video games, and I like collecting toys for collecting toys. Combined, it's way too expensive, and I get half the entertainment. And this is kind of the start of the downfall.
Developed as a Toys to Life game at first, but then they forced it into it. But with a game like Skylanders, that felt more genuine. Sure, they were still trying to sell you this junk, but it felt more justified. At least with 3.0, Disney started to package the power discs in regular packaging, so you knew exactly what you were gonna get, and the starter pack initially sold for only $64.99, which frankly wasn't that bad. I mean, you were still only getting one small portion of the game and only 2 characters in one playset, but hey, it could be worse. Disney not only canceled future plans for Infinity, but closed Avalanche and Disney Interactive in the process. There were loads of figures and playsets in development that just poof. Starting then, Disney decided to just license out their properties to different developers and publishers, to which we got Cars 3 Driven to Win just 1 year later.
Okay, I was hoping to finish it, but I really gotta go pee. I'll be right back. I'll be quick.
How is everyone?
Okay, I'm back.
Some things must die for some to live. This was a bit of a bummer considering 3.0 had loads of potential. It seemed like things were finally going to start to ramp up for Infinity. Plus, there were plans for a 4.0 which would lean way...
Oh my god, Yoda!
Incoming ad break.
What did they do to my boy? My boy looks like he got a heart attack.
More into the crossover element, featuring a campaign of sorts with all the characters. However, it was either that or Cars 3 Driven to Win, they chose what they chose. The company saw that Toys to Life, while it still could lead to success, was a declining market. 2015 had 3 major competitors doing very similar things on top of Amiibo. Customers were justifiably finding that buying these games every year was too expensive, not worth it. Their living rooms were clogged. And these games were fundamentally replacements for traditional licensed kids games. If you wanted to get your kid a game based on a movie they liked, or just a child-friendly game in general, in 2015, there wasn't a ton of options if you weren't on a Nintendo platform that weren't Toys to Life. So Disney backed out, leaving just LEGO Dimensions and Skylanders. Dimensions continued to release new level, story, and fun packs alongside content updates for the original game, while Skylanders stuck to their usual format, and in 2016, we got Skylanders Imaginators. Kind of similar story to Superchargers. Well done game, it's just more Skylanders, now with the gimmick of creating your own character with these creation crystals. You save it to them, and now this is a Skylander. You can bring it over to a friend's house, another console version of the game. That's really neat, but much like Superchargers, this isn't really a, whoa, how are you doing that moment. Half of the fun of Skylanders is having the characters as figures, and when you just have a generic thing like this be your figure, it's basically just a memory card at that point, so it's not like...
It's cool that you gave them the ability to make their own creatures, but you kind of forgot about one of the core reasons people liked the figures, was they look cool.
The craziest thing in the world. And by this point in the game, it was obvious Disney was right. Toys to Life has declined and wasn't as appealing anymore. The magic was gone as it was milked dry by every company. It was tough to be wowed by putting the toy on the portal and seeing it appear in the game, when everybody else had already done it multiple times over at this point. Skylanders are still the best of the main 3 though. I never care for the gameplay, but my god, I at least have to commend their passion and faithfulness. All the characters, all the gimmicks from previous games, work here. You can use the Giants, the Swap Force characters, the traps from Trap Team, the vehicles from Superchargers. Even Donkey Kong and Bowser still work on the Nintendo versions. And all of these Skylanders look different from their original appearances. They went in and updated them all with new animations, sometimes models. That is commitment and impressive. Though the Nintendo Switch version, which came out at the system's launch on March 3rd, 2017, it doesn't come with a portal. They decided to just use the NFC on the system, which was something I asked for on the Wii U. But now I know why they didn't do it. The traps and vehicles aren't compatible. Scanning the figures is far more bitchy than it ever was with the portal. It was way easier to just have the portal, pop the figure on, and leave it there. Now it's riddled with menus and button prompts, and this is the worst version of the game. You can still use the Nintendo characters, but frankly, it kind of seems the Wii U version is definitive, as you can use the characters and the vehicles and traps. Imaginators was the last of the mainline Skylanders games during its initial run, and it kind of feels like they almost knew that going in. I know they didn't, as there were plans for more Skylanders Imaginators content, and even a game following it, but just the fact that the gimmick is, we're giving you the ability to make your own Skylander. Villains throughout the series are now playable via their own figures. Spyro plays a big part in the intro of the game, which...
I remember the trailer. for Imagineers, and that a point of it was the villains now being able to be used as characters. They were hyping that up. I remember the commercials.
Which kind of feels like we're coming full circle. They made a Crash Bandicoot figure in Level, which is a really cute form of fan service. The figures themselves are huge. They were pretty expensive this time around, but they really made them super high quality.
They look nice.
I don't know, this feels like a fitting conclusion to the series. But even if it was never meant to be that, the game sold quite poorly. It was obvious the fad was over. Or was it?
Oh, wow,
yes.
Wow. I forgot a lot of the... Fuck Starlink. Nothing really bad about Starlink. It's just... No one gave a shit.
Ubisoft announced plans for their own Toys to Life game at
it's
E3
Ubisoft.
2017. Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Because if you want to think of a company that knows where trends are going in video games and know when and how to take advantage, it ain't Ubisoft.
Watches on these guys. After everybody else was obliterated, these guys swung into E3 announcing a spaceship game with toys. It released in 2018 for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, with the Nintendo Switch version coming with Star Fox content, which meant nobody played it on PS4 and Xbox. You connect your controller to this shell, and then connect these different ships and weapons to it alongside this little figure of your pilot. So, this does feel a bit magical, like it's pretty wicked trying this out for the first time. There's no batteries or wires or anything, just snap it on and everything appears in-game. Very impressive. But after that, I'm good.
It
The game
looks-
controls well.
it looks good.
But it's really repetitive. Just fly around, get into dogfights, deliver things. The world can feel kind of barren and not super interesting. It's okay, but now we're spending hundreds of dollars on. I think Ubisoft knew this considering they sold a digital version of the game that did not require any of the toys, and after a bit they stopped selling the toys altogether and just supported the game with updates until dropping it altogether. Much like the others, I can tell this is quality, and the Toys to Life aspect does enhance the experience to some extent. It's really cool, but after that first time playing it, I don't care to go back to this. It's not a bad game, just not one that I'd ever play without a gun to my head. When they started out, you can understand how these games felt really cool, but after nearly 10 years of their existence, they have to do some crazy stuff to warrant their existence.
Not even 10 years. Again, Skylander 1 came out 2011. This is 2018. 7 years, we got so much, and it died out so quick. And now, a decade later, I know so many people who regret ever getting into this shit because they have no way to get rid of it unless they just get rid of it, and then boom, there's a waste of hundreds of dollars.
Now, because after a while, by 2015, Toys to Life lost its magic, and instead it just felt exploitative. The prices of these things don't lie. Nobody wants them anymore. In the end, most of these were just a complete waste.
Yep.
There. I wasted.
There's still more that can be done.
Hey, hand me that disposable cup of water. This is glass.
Yep. See, that's the spirit. If you need any more Skylander starter packs, Dex is willing to offload those onto you for half your regular price.
This has all been free so far.
This offer goes away at midnight.
It's 2 in the morning.
Fine. I'll extend it to next year.
What kind of business are you running here? How do you make money? Why is your boss 14?
13, you ass!
Well, we don't make money, we make foreign age miscalculations.
Yeah, I have 2 birthdays.
I have none.
You have no birthdays? It doesn't seem very wasteful.
Saves money on a gift.
Wait! The waste chasers don't exist! This is just a front!
I prefer the term, this was a front. Destroy the evidence.
You are just scamming innocent people looking to waste their time and money into taking your garbage for free.
I wasn't trying to be malicious. I was trying to help out my cousin Dex. For his 12th birthday coming up, he wanted room for more Skylanders figures, so I had to find a way to get rid of the old ones. What am I supposed to do? The dump won't take these.
Wait, this is a scam? You son of a bitch! Now I'm stuck with them, all because you have a cousin?
Is it a bad time to say I have multiple?
These things are worthless! Nobody buys them anymore! What am I supposed to do with them now?
I can see if Dex wants them.
Rex, you're a disgrace to the Force. I joined this company because of a passion for waste, not because I was duped by a 9-year-old.
I think he's turning 7 next fall.
If you're gonna treat this waste with respect, I'm gonna treat it like the garbage it was always meant to be.
Well, that was a learning experience. The only Toys to Life platform I ever got into at the time was Amiibo, and even then it was pretty begrudgingly. But looking back at everything, while these things are rotting on clearance shelves and in landfills for a reason, they still brought joy to millions of players.
True.
They were a waste, but they still had some purpose. Oh, technically speaking, they had more use than most regular figurines. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Well, none of these games are necessarily my thing, and locking in-game content from an already overpriced game behind figures sold separately leads to a huge waste of time and money on the customer's end. The Waste Chasers showed me that even some of the biggest wastes of energy on the planet exist for a reason. To exploit young children and give landfills a purpose.
God bless America. Hey, Timmy, 10-year-old. You like shiny thing? Make your parents miserable and they'll buy it for you.
Even God has epiphanies.
Yep, that was the 2010s. Yeah, it was bad. It was a very bad time. Thanks, Ofig. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Check me out on Twitch, SilverDFanng, 2 N's in Fang. Check me out on Twitter and Blue Sky under the same name. Also TikTok. Have a great night.